mentioned really wanted Pizza Puff in town. Anything else you guys want to do in Chicago while you're here?
I haven't been down to Navy Pier in such a long time. I know it's probably the touristy thing to do, but it just reminds me so much like 2000 when I was here shooting film. So I just want to go back and just see, just to reminisce a little bit. And definitely the Pizza Puffs are I have to get one before I leave. Mild sauce, lots and lots of mild sauce.
What were you shooting at Navy Pier in 2000?
We were shooting this movie called Hardball. With Cameron.
Yeah.
We shot here in the city, and I just remember I couldn't really do too much. At 13, 14, you couldn't really go out to any the nightlife. It wasn't really ESPN Zone was probably the closest thing I could get. But Navy Pier was the other thing. I take my bicycle right down to Navy Pier and just kind of just hang out, try to find them, try to get a phone number or something. that was my thing.
Well, Michael, you said that you think Ryan related to Oscar kind of where you were coming from. I know you've had some incidents in your life that helped you relate to the story. You're talking about owning a BMW at 16 and some cops had some. What did the cops say to you in those incidents that made you feel like you kind of used that feeling for this movie?
Just being prejudged, kind of I'm pretty sure that wasn't Oscar's first time, getting harassed, or held up by the by authorities, and over time you kind of you start to feel some type of way when you get pulled over. So I'm gonna go through this again.
What do they say in that situation?
I mean, it's the usual, license registration. That's kind of usually how it starts off. Or sometimes it doesn't. It starts off with whose car is it? It's an automatic assumption that it's not mine, or I don't belong in it. Or how'd you get this car? Or who's down the Jordans? My ID is my mother's name. That's my mom's car. It's in my mom's name. And
there's nothing suspicious about that.
Yeah, I mean, nothing at all. But it's you see somebody like me, as young as I was at the time, driving around, the inner city of Newark, and then to them, it doesn't make sense. And it gets a little. I've been legally searched, car legally searched, handcuffed for no reason. That you put yourself in. You get in enough of those situations, it's not hard for you to pull from those experiences.
Sure.
To play this.
Ryan, what about you? What moment do you think about when you think about the parallels for this film in your life?
I mean, for me, I think about the films, the parallels for me stem from actually Oscar's family. Being having a close relationship with his mom, with his grandmother, with his friends, just being in the Bay Area. You know what I mean? We were born in the same year. So coming up in that environment, I got too many parallels really to count. I mean, in terms of experience with the police, everybody got those.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's just reality.
Did you guys talk to any of the cops who were on the scene when this happened to kind of get that side of the story, or because I know you spent a lot of time with Oscar's family? Did you talk to any of the police as well?
For me, we talked to Bart and the chief of Bart Police who's there now. And when I was there then, I've been fired. What I had access to, where it was basically a large trial, so I had access to everything that was publicly available about the trial. Every police officer that was there took the stand, and was, because it was a criminal trial, they were under prosecution. So just about every question that could have been asked to them, in terms of what their mind state was. What they were dealing with, where they came from before, any history, it was all available right there. So there's no need to really go into that.
So having that as a resource, why do you think this happened? I mean, I feel like watching the film, I was left with a little bit of a question of why this took place.
You mean why did Oscar die?
Yeah, why do you think this incident happened?
I think that's a question. That's a question that's too large to answer. I mean, you can make speculation. I think that a lot of speculation could be made as to what the big the root cause of this whole incident was. But I think there's so many different things feeding these type of situations when it happens, and why they happen so frequently. So it's tough to just sum up why.
What do you think, Michael?
I mean, I kind of agree. It's something that's so broad. It happens. Every situation is so different. But That's a tough answer. You know, it's a tough question to answer. You know, I think human error, you know, human nature. You know what I'm saying? In certain areas, you know, judgment. You know, man. So I mean,
just to piggyback on the situation. I think that oftentimes, and it's like this in the Bay Area, you know, the police officers that were directly involved in this, they weren't from you know, the officer that shot Oscar was from Napa County. You know, it's an area that's mostly white. You know, it's outside of the Bay Area. He's born in Germany. You know, oftentimes somebody in a place like that. And I talked to some people in Chicago PD last night actually when we were doing a screening. And Chicago PD has a rule that if you work in Chicago, you have to live in Chicago. You know, some areas don't have that rule. You know, the transit authority at that time in the Bay Area didn't have that rule. You know, so oftentimes you get people from different environments that get thrown in the environments with people that they never spent time with before in their life. You know what I mean, on a daily basis or in their personal life. Only access they had to these type of people, you know, was through the media. You know, how are people who are young, look like Oscar, how they portrayed in the media? You know, you gotta think about that, and somebody giving a badge and a gun and then told to go police in those communities. You know, all of a sudden they gotta protect and serve these type of people that they never even spent time with. They might have formed opinions about. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was curious if you thought like this was a mistake or if it was like really racially motivated, because obviously like much of the movie is about Oscar, this guy. The movie is about Oscar, who's made a lot of mistakes in his life, but we're seeing the way that like he has moved on and recovered from these mistakes. And I guess I was curious like if you saw what happened as a mistake from the cop's perspective too, and like that kind of broad.
I mean, I look at it as like, you know, people being professionals. You know, I think you know, I'm a professional at what I do. You know, I'm an actor. You know, I've been on enough movie sets to know the difference between a stage light and an apple box. You know what I'm saying? I know the difference why, because I've been around it long enough, and I know I'm a professional at what I do. As a police officer, you're a professional. What we're supposed to do. You know, you should know your equipment well. You should know the difference between a taser and a handgun. And I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah, for me, the movie wasn't about that. The movie was about this guy's life. And what happens on the platform is a very short part of the film, and it's from Oscar's perspective, and from the perspective of the relationship that he's involved with. I think that, you know, like to be honest, that the answer to that question, only one person knows. You know,
sure.
You know what I mean? Like that's you have to ask that. You have to ask that person. You know, but what I was interested in was just one guy in his life. You know what I mean? And how that related to all of our lives.
Sure.
And the fact that it ended unnecessarily. You know, and what the fall from that was.
Absolutely. Michael, you mentioned Hardball earlier. I know when you were in that film, Brian Robbins told you to imagine something you wanted and that you couldn't have. What did you imagine in that situation?
Oh man. Too much situation as far as like what situation?
I read for that scene when you like had to cry. What were you thinking of to get yourself to that point?
Nah, that scene actually, you know, he had me thinking about my mom not being there. Something that I wanted I wanted my mom being back in my life. My mother's in my life, you know, but at the time, you imagine your mom like, you know, passing away, not being there. You know what I'm saying? I guess at that age as a kid, you know what I'm saying, you try to think of something that hurts you the most, and you kind of I guess it's the early stages of, you know, using substitution. It was just a tool that certain actors use. You substitute certain things in your personal life to kind of get you to that mental place and that emotional state. And at that time, he went for the home run, the grand slam. He went for the one that hurt me the most. That's probably why my face was looking so crazy and I was crying. It was some real.
Yeah, he wasn't just being like, you're not allowed to have dessert tonight.
Nah, that wasn't it. He went for what really mattered, and yeah, that's definitely what I thought about.
Well, how much now do you still use that type of technique to get to that place, or is it not necessary anymore?
It depends, honestly, on project, what it is, the situation. Now I like to think that, I'm in my character's head so much that I don't have to substitute, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the moment, I'm living in the moment, you know what I'm saying? And if it's genuine, it's real, and if it comes out, it comes out. If it doesn't, then I'm not gonna force it.
Sure.
At that time I felt like, it probably was forced for sure, but now if I cry on screen, I think it's meant because I think that's how that person would feel at the time. And if it doesn't, it just doesn't happen.
You mentioned wanting to model your career in some way after Ryan Gosling. How much do you wish you could go back and be part of the Mickey Mouse Club if you could?
Oh man, I can't sing worth the lick, so I don't know if I would be allowed in the club like that. I can't.
You can't sing?
No.
Can you dance?
I was born with rhythm, but I don't know if I'm not a break dancer.
I feel like there's always that one member who's in the back just kind of mouthing along.
Just kind of got by because he's a cute kid. Yeah. I was an ugly kid. I don't know how to know. Mickey Mouse Club wasn't for me.
You want to show what that dance audition would have been like, just so
we
can see what they missed?
That ain't. You ain't got no time for that. You ain't got no time for that.
Well, you guys have both talked a little bit about the types of parts that are out there for African American actors. Like, it's interesting. People are like, oh, he's a young Denzel Washington, and at the same time, you're like, why do you have to? That's great, but why do you have to compare me to Denzel? Like, respectfully, do you feel like there's kind of a double-edged sword that comes along with that type of thing?
What do you mean?
Like, being proud to be compared to someone like that, but at the same time, like, why does it have to be?
I've been living with that all my life, you know what I'm saying? My name is Michael Jordan, so I'm always being compared to a person of greatness, you know what I'm saying? So we consider as greatness as everybody, and I think everybody wants to be their own person, be an individual, being compared to that man who's, accomplished so much in his lifetime and is known as one of the greatest ever is an amazing compliment. But, I still, want to be looked at as an individual and have my own lane and my own career and looked at as, that's Mike B, So, I think it's just easier for people to kind of just put you in a box on the lane because you look similar. And I think that's unfair for anybody in any situation.
I think to piggyback off that, I think what you asked me about is like why does that happen with white actors? In that situation where somebody points to,
right?
Yeah, and it's only one person to really point to. It's because it's not. It's so many different ones. It's in many ways like black actors, it's kind of like the two leading guys. You know what I mean? It's like Will Smith or Denzel. When somebody comes up and African American, as Mike is, extremely talented as Mike is, and say, oh yeah, he's the next. This that, and I think that it points to. I think it points to disparity, the fact that there aren't an abundance of African American, that are getting lead roles, that are getting roles that have prominence, in the big screen. The same thing behind the camera, maybe even worse. Coming up and you black and you wanna direct someone and say, oh yeah, Spike Lee, oh yeah, John Singleton.
Right.
And it's funny because my wife and my friends, they never got compared to anybody, you know what I mean? Because it's such a plethora to pick from, And if they did get compared to somebody, it's because of their work, their type of work, However, I think when I hear people comparing Mike's work to Denzel, I think it's amazing because Denzel is such an amazing textured actor, and I think that comes with Mike too. I'm not thinking about how they look though. I'm thinking about what they're able to accomplish.
Sure. We don't have a lot of time. There's just a couple of quick ones I want to make sure we have a chance to get to. Speaking of being named Michael Jordan, I'm wondering, have you seen that commercial where this kind of dopey white guy?
Of course. Yeah.
Have you had a moment in your life that was like that commercial?
That was my life. That's to this day. I remember being in New York, and I would I remember being on the set of All My Children, kids we were running late. I wanted to order some pizza, so I called up. You know what I'm saying? Pizza delivery spot. And it's like, hey, let me get whatever I ordered at the time. He said, sure. And I give him my address, asked me for my name. I'm like, Michael Jordan. And there's a brief pause. He's like, yeah, right. Let me guess, apartment 23, and just hung up on me. And I was just like. And I was my best friend Sterling was with me at the time, and I just kind of told him what happened. He started cracking up, laughing, and that. But it happens to me a lot. It does. Sure. Because everybody has that. when they hear the name, they want to say a joke, but they feel like it's the first time that I've ever been told that joke before. So they think they're completely original. It's like, dude, come on, man, I'm 26 years old. Really think you're the first person to come to me and talk about my name? So yeah, it's especially here in Chicago. I was actually thinking about calling on Michael Jordan Girls Steakhouse and just getting dinner reservations just to see what kind of table I would get.
You should.